It's tabletop time.
I'm Jen.
I'm Dave.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Jazza.
And today we're doing part 4 of Grimm's Fairy Tales. Grisly Tales for Gruesome Kids. No, wait, that was a TV show that I used to watch as a kid. It was called Grizzly's Tales.
Yeah. This one's much darker.
Well, a bit darker. It's pretty dark.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, but we're here to tell you this video is brought to you by Whale Milk. We're excited to let you know that you can, with pride, wear your Whale Milk merch or drink out of your Whale Milk's reciprocal or sleep on your Whale Milk pillow. Do you like to drink and chew at the same time?
It's my biggest problem with regular milk is that it doesn't exercise my jaw muscles. I don't have this problem anymore, thanks to whale milk.
If you're on a no solids diet, whale milk is the closest you'll get to feeling like you're not. And you can help share the good word of this product by wearing it or displaying it in every and any way possible. This is a real item of merchandise. We are sharing and selling for a limited time because of the dumb jokes we make up with Twitch chat while we stream.
I'm sorry, I zoned out because someone said Tris wants to milk a whale and then that made me Google things. And now I kind of regret it.
Rob! Stop! It's an inside joke that has escalated beyond belief, and you can aid that escalation by supporting Tabletop Time by getting yourself some whale milk merch today. Again, limited time, because we have no idea if anyone is going to find this funny enough to get.
Just put my face in your space.
That's Rob drinking whale milk.
Support whale milk.
No whales were harmed in the production of this product.
In our previous episode, we got some closure for Hansel and Gretel, sort of, vaguely. They were nursed back to health in town, and the gang investigated and dealt with the scoundrels, Theodore and Ailil, who, in the brink of famine, abandoned their children for a hope of living.
Pathetic.
And now we're on our way to Janek's place.
And I'm a father again. Sort of.
Yes, you kind of strong-armedly took their children off.
Are you going to have a very set of specific rules for these kids? Like, you're not allowed to bake any gingerbread like...
So I'm going to be the strictest dad ever, but they're going to live and they're going to be fed.
Yeah, great.
It's better than they had before.
That's true.
I don't know how you will make a living while you are busy away from your shop.
I don't know how he makes a living anyway. No one can afford food.
I was wondering that too. I don't want to look into it. He's got to come out. I was going to ask you, like...
What commerce level did you put in your character?
Well, I didn't, but so it would have been default. But I, in his story, he was...
So I'm going to say
enough.
that you have been very successful and your toys often get sold out of town. So you make them there and then maybe
the international
maybe
market.
like every month, maybe like every month. This is important. I do not want my backstory interrupted. Oh my God. So like maybe every month you travel sort of like to the large city and you take your wares and you kind of make your money in bulk at the city. That's probably the way it would make sense.
Right.
I imagine you just, during this weird sale pitch, being like, yes, food is good, but so is clockwork doll.
Okay.
Yes. We begin the session with a gasping breath. And we're traveling south. Okay, so you're heading to a hamlet.
Recap.
Did recap.
Did we?
We did.
It was a really brief session.
Pay attention, Rob.
Not much happened. There was a lot of character moments and talking.
Okay.
All right. So, you head south.
There's a certain lively re-entry after 20 minutes of hanging out with Twitch chat. I'm sorry.
That's it.
You journey south along the road and the sun falls and the moon rises. It is 3/4 full. And Bryn, you feel something crawling underneath your skin all across your body. It itches under your skin pretty much everywhere. Like there's worms crawling through your flesh.
That's hot.
And you keep walking, I guess, paying no mind.
Scratch it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like everywhere. It makes you feel like you want to peel your skin off. But
do you act on that?
I gently peel my nose.
Do we notice
I
these?
scratch. Yeah.
make perception checks. You can make a stealth check to conceal it if you want to, or if you overtly scratch yourself like a dog, then they don't have to.
What do you do?
Oh, I just scratch. If it's not going to go away, I'm not going to go mad on it. Yet.
That was a good roll. Helga's very perceptive.
Yeah, I'm going to say Helga notices.
And I got 2, so...
The scratching seems to be concentrated around the bite.
Have you got fleas, Bryn?
No, I think this bite might be infected. I don't know why I put on an accent.
And of course, to your character, the concept of infection would be that a pox has fallen upon you for some reason related probably to the bite, but you don't really have a concept of things like infection. That's a curse, or it's a pox. It's not related. Nothing got in your bloodstream. That doesn't make any sense.
The wound is itchy.
Yeah. The wound is fetid or something like that. But it doesn't look at the wound looks quite clean and not like pussy or anything. But the flesh around the wound looks bad in that it's like purple and veiny and like, you can see the pulse of the heartbeat.
Yeah.
But the actual wound is like, clotted over quite nicely. And
Looks fine to me.
I'm sure it will be.
cool.
Keep walking.
A new journey. For the first few hours, nothing happens. You press onwards. Hours pass. The moon rises to its crest. You keep journeying.
Helga, tell me of this legend, this story you heard that we are pursuing. This man who came into money. Go into more detail.
The guy I talked to, I didn't catch his name, but he was very persistent. He just said that he has a lot of money and they're unsure of how or why. I thought it was best to investigate.
The idea being he may have come into this dealing with unseemly sources, creatures.
Potentially.
I see. How far away from this place?
You have no idea. Well, you might have some idea. You're a while away. You're
Shall I general
halfway
knowledge
there.
it?
You know. If you travel into town, you go past this hamlet. You know.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm going to get you to make an endurance check, challenge level 2.
All of us?
Yep.
Oh, you missed one. It's
went
gone.
all the way
Yeah,
up.
just
Fuck. Sorry. I mean, I don't know what I got. 2, 3
2 successes.
3.
Well, 2 passes.
2. Okay.
Are you factoring in your injury there?
no.
You have -2 off all your checks.
I thought she got
No,
another
she's
injury.
good. She had 2 level 1s. She's recovered.
You're good.
It is Rob
It's
with a
just
level
Rob
2
with
injury.
the level 2 injury.
3 successes.
Cool. You're fine.
Athletics or endurance?
Endurance. And you're all fine.
Woo.
And you press on. Do you just keep traveling?
Yeah.
Got to get there.
All right. So for the second half of your journey, destiny roll.
Oh,
I'll re-roll it. That was cocked. A 10. Is fairly uneventful. You don't pass anyone on the road. You don't notice anything. There's a distant howl of a wolf, but it seems further back towards where you came from. And at approximately, you guess, before dawn, you arrive, and I'll get you to make one more endurance check. Challenge level 3.
1.
Cool.
Sick.
also one.
We're fatigued. Oof.
2. Okay, so you all fail.
What was the challenge?
Challenge level 3.
Got harder.
Okay.
So you've now stayed up about 24 hours through hard energy, fighting, endurance, and also a lot of things. And you're
we
pretty
should have
much
considered that.
you're pretty much exhausted. So you all are going to have -1 dice. You don't have an injury, but you have -1 dice off every check until you rest.
Fuck me.
Okay.
Maybe you should go on lingering injuries. We'll call it exhaustion.
Yep.
Like D&D style.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Just go exhaustion 1. That'll do.
Yep.
Cool. And you arrive as the first rays of light curl over. I'm going to get Rob. You make a destiny roll.
Roughly what time is it?
You guess like 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m.,
Oh, my
5 a.m.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
11.
11. You're okay. All right. So this itching starts to subside with the sun coming up. Cool. You arrive on the border of this hamlet. There is a watermill, granary, and several farmsteads. The way they're kind of built is this is more agricultural. You're pushed back. This was probably logged 10, 15 years ago, and it's built up. So it's kind of like 4 farmsteads where the farmhouses are all built into a hamlet together with the granary, but then their farms extend out that makes sense. So that's kind of how they build these hamlets a lot of the time. So they have a bunch of farmland that's built kind of like a wedge, but then the actual house is on the point of the wedge, but all of those points are next to each other. So they all live in a little community, but their actual land extends quite a ways out.
Does it seem occupied? Is there like smoke from the chimney and blah, blah, blah?
The wispy tails of smoke from the night's fire that's probably now a little more than embers because it's before waking up time.
What does the farmland look like? Is it quite drought-ridden or plentiful?
It's been winter. Didn't I say you were coming out of winter?
Yeah, which is why everyone's starving.
Yeah, so there's actually nothing in the fields are empty. They're being they're being like plowed and prepared for a spring.
And they're
planting.
all the same.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I don't know about you, but I am very weary.
Is there stables or like a barn house at these?
There's probably a barn.
Okay. Perhaps we should make friendly with these people and see how we go.
I don't know how friendly we can make if we're waking them up, is my concern. Should we rest on the outskirts briefly at least? Power nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, and then I'm gonna wrap myself in my cloak and lay down.
You packed supplies and stuff before we left.
Yeah, I packed us all up. So I would have known the distance of this place.
I said half a day's journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I sort of like lead towards the inside edge of the scrub so we're not too visible, just so it doesn't look too conspicuous, and just lay down a few rolls and this and that, and pass a bit of food so we can snack, and then just go have a brief nap until dawn.
You probably get about 40 to 45 minutes of fitful sleep before a rooster starts to cock-a-doodle and wakes you up.
Are we rested enough to...
Thank you, Rob. Please. Okay. You probably get 45 minutes of restful sleep before a rooster starts to crow and wakes you up. The previous bit definitely will have been edited.
Yeah. I need like sound effects, like an audience cheering and stuff for like those moments. Do we get rid of exhaustion, or we're not rested?
No,
Okay.
you didn't.
That's right.
You like
Tried.
just that point of like deep sleep and then
Okay.
yeah.
All right. We'll pack up.
And it was cold and miserable. Yep.
Yeah.
But the first couple of farmers start to step out and go for their work, except for one farm where no one gets up.
Should we try there first?
Up to you.
I feel like, Wolfgang, you're more persuasive than me and Bryn. Perhaps you should take the lead on this one.
I will try, should we decide together first what our goal is. Perhaps a few key points of asking that I can lean on.
Well, these people live close to the forest, so they might have information on Baba Yaga or the children. Anything we can find out would be helpful.
They live further from the forest than you guys do.
Anything we can
from
find out
the
would be
other
helpful.
town.
I see. Okay. And I head forward. Bryn, perhaps you could hunt for some game we could offer them in these trying times to win their favor. I believe bringing you may not make the best first impression, but you could strengthen our second impression.
Are you
surely.
still quite hurt, though?
I'll give it a crack anyway.
There's a gross wound on
I'm happy to go hunting.
He
I'm
like
not-
looks bad.
Oh God, yeah. He hasn't washed. He's still got dried blood all over him.
Yeah.
His face and top of his torso are covered in caked black and dry blood and dirt.
Yeah.
And he has this like festering wound. It's not like he looks messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are don't want to come within meters of you.
Yeah, I'm happy to go hunting.
Sounds great.
Cool. Helga and I head up towards the...
The
I guess we sort of see the nearest farmer sort of setting about their work and walk up confidently in an confrontational way.
Hello, travellers.
Guten Morgen. I was wondering, forgive my intrusion. My associate and myself are investigating recent issues and disappearances.
That's some big words there. What's that mean then?
There have been problems, and we are trying to find solutions.
Oh yeah, what problems?
We have just come from a town where children have been going missing. Is this something you have experienced locally or yourself?
Well, children going missing. I don't know about that. Janek used to have a kid, but not for a while now.
Perhaps we should go. Oh, which one is Janek?
He points at the one house where no one rose from.
Yeah. I believe we should start there.
Lazy bugger doesn't do any work anymore.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Before I go, is there anything you recommend I know about Janek?
Oh, he's a bit of a right prick, isn't he? That's about it.
What would you say wins his favour?
Well, he doesn't stop talking about the women in the big city, so I guess women. But, you know, we ain't got much of that stock around here.
I see.
Sorry, miss. I've caught missus. I assumed that you and the gentleman here were an item, and of course I wouldn't go and besmirch your honour and suggest that you would be a lout that would sleep around with a farmer.
No, you best not.
Of course not. My apologies. If you were to mistake me, we're all happily married here and don't have any worry about that silly youthful nonsense.
It is nothing.
Thank you for your time.
Cool.
I walk away, head towards Janek's place.
Guys just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I love that. I love where
The
there's all
awkward
these moments
shifting
where
out of
like
the-
modern thought process,
Yeah.
like, "Oi, I'm like, what's wrong with me?" And he's like, "Well, he wouldn't dare suggest
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you would be like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's so inappropriate."
Head over to Janek's and
Cool.
look for activity in the house, see if there's anything noticeable.
There's smoke rising from the chimney, but there's no one rising. It's still like 5:36 a.m.
Knock on the door gently.
There's no response.
Is it open?
No,
Like, I go for the handle.
it's latched, so
Okay.
it doesn't open.
Is there a window out the front?
Can
There's
I?
windows around the place.
There's a clothesline out the
Can
back.
I try and pick the lock using my toy maker skill and tools?
You could assist with your toy maker skills, but it would be a specific professional skill. So
Okay.
it would be a challenge level 3
Of a-
reflex based.
Okay. I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, I mean you could use
Yeah, why not?
yeah.
So
Sleight
this
of
is my
hand.
assist for a lockpick check. So this is
Yep.
my toy
You can
maker
use your
skill.
toy maker's tools to assist.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you automatically pass.
Yay!
So I pull out my little
very good assist roll.
wiry, sharp, thin carving tools and very sharp pokery thing. Like I unroll my thing and just surreptitiously
I'll stand in front
find
of
the
like,
mechanism in it. I'm a very bloody good toy maker.
Yeah.
Click and
And the door pops open.
I'm impressed.
I am good at my trade. And I peek through the crack in the door.
You push it open into this fairly standard-looking farmer's house, and you hear snoring. And over in the corner, you see a man who is laying there asleep. He's wearing the sort of long johns, and that's it. And next to him, there is 2 bottles of wine, both empty, as well as a half unwrapped, but it was a wrapped piece of cured meat, like a big bit of ham. And there's cheeses and stuff on his bedside table and a knife. And he looks like he's fallen asleep, eating and drinking, and just passed out on his bed.
I unspoken signal to Helga at the knife, just to signal to remove that as an obstacle, and walk up to the fireplace and quietly start making the fire a nice welcoming.
Can you make a stealth check?
Okay.
Both of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Challenge level. Woo!
At least one.
I'll let you read.
Challenge level 1.
You rolled a 3 on both of the dice.
It's meant to be.
Challenge level 1. 1.
Cool. Perceivers win. All right. So Helga is very quiet, but after you stoke the fire for a bit, you hear and a man starts to stir on his bed.
Sort
Wakes
of.
up.
I stand facing the fireplace calmly as it's sort of stoking and wait until there's a bit of movement.
He awakes with a start, looking at you, and looks panicked. What are you doing in my house?
Good morning, Janek, was it?
Yes, and why are you in here? I locked the door, didn't I?
I'm going to go back over to the door and stand in front of it and cross my arms. And I've got the knife as well, and I pocket it.
we come as friends and peacefully, but that could change depending on how you interact with us. We are...
Destiny roll for this. 2.
Oh boy.
You've just broken and entered into a man's house. He does not think you've come as friends, and he is immediately worried. And he's just staring at you.
We are professional, shall we say, problem solvers. You are not our problem, but it would be a problem if you cannot help us solve. There have been children going missing. We need to know what you know of these problems and of the recent disappearances, and also the... Is this the person here? This isn't the unknown wealth person. This
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And we have heard that you have been acquiring a good deal of money that is unaccounted for.
You've come for You've come for my money.
Of course not.
You,
But I've come to know
you don't want to take
where
what is
the
mine.
money came from and what you know about these disappearances. Our journey has led us here, and there is a reason for that.
What assurances do I have that you won't hurt me?
The assurance that we stand here in complete control, and we are not. And we promise you that we will not if you cooperate.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Challenge level 3.
Can I have a quick glance around the room and can I see any like portraits or? So he's pretty much alone.
Make a perception check.
I'm going to use a destiny point to give myself the advantage because I only have 4 points in my persuasion.
You go first.
That was
Ooh.
4 successes.
Well done.
Good use of advantage.
Yeah, well, you know,
And you get
there if I
1.
need it.
You don't notice anything. He kind of straightens himself out, has the last swig of the drips in the bottom of his bottle of wine as breakfast, and then says, all right, I'll tell you. You want to make the riches of your own, yes?
I remain completely silent.
Okay. He's like, in hard times, we have to make sacrifices, and I just made a sacrifice, and I guess the gods granted me with a bounty.
Did the farmer outside say that he used to have a kid? Is that right? Yeah.
Tell us about the child of the local farmer that's gone missing. Is this associated with such a sacrifice?
Oh, you're right on the money. Christina, my daughter. Yeah, she was a little shit, if you ask me. And when her mother left, it was hard. Until, fortune smiled upon me, and I met a strange lady, and she offered me a purse of coin for Christina.
How old was your daughter?
6 or 7 winters.
In order for me to not let my disgust get the better of me, I expect you to tell me in excruciating detail everything about this woman you dealt with, where you met her, what was exchanged, where, when.
Oh, yes. She was a woman and very long, very long nose, very interesting facial features. I would say to say she was pretty would be to say that catfish was delicious. So it is. It's not. It tastes like mud, my dude. Yeah, and we exchanged goods in this town. My daughter, Christina, was very miserable with me, and she's very happy now, I think.
In this town, further witnesses of this exchange.
No. It was out on the fringe of the woods. Lovely old lady.
So I try and gather like where in the fringe of the woods, what direction she came from, and all. Like
He gives you all that specific
And how-
information, and he's like, "Don't think me a monster. She was promised a far better life than I was giving her here."
Yes. Well,
How long ago did this happen? How long ago?
Oh, a month, perhaps. It's been good to eat again.
Wish your daughter could say the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure she's eating well. The woman was wealthy and lovely. A home for a beautiful young girl.
Yes. And I'm very peaceful. This whole time I've been very calm and peaceful. I will have slowly sort of edged towards him and listened, sat on the chair beside the bed until eventually I'm sort of sitting on the edge of his bed as he's talking. Then I lean in and say, it is unfortunate, so that in the search for a better life, you would inadvertently destroy your own. And I pull the...
I'm going to get you to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, all right. Challenge level.
You're beating 1.
Okay.
Cool.
No! I fail! Oh, come on. And I can't re-roll. I don't have destiny.
Okay, so
Crap.
what were you attempting to do?
Stab him.
Okay, so you said to ruin my own.
What's his reflex?
His reflex is unexpected. You thought you were being incredibly subtle, but he was always on guard. You just convinced him to listen to you, but he was like sitting up on his bed. He sat himself upright as you were coming. So as you go for the knife and swing at him, a bottle, the wine bottle that he was drinking from, it comes at you with a swing basically ahead of time.
Okay.
So you're going to roll combat against
Let's
this guy.
do it. Are we
And
rolling for reflex?
well, what's your reflexes?
None.
Yeah, so his is none too. So, I mean, it's
So roll.
not going to matter because you're both just actually going to roll against each other because
Okay,
no
yeah.
one's doing anything special.
But if there's more turns, it could be.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
That's
I
reasonable.
got 6.
You got a 4. So
Okay. So he's swinging the bottle
Yep.
and I'm attacking. So it's just my attack roll, which is my chisel.
well, it's yeah. So
All right. I think to have integrity, I should put one of these dice down because we are exhausted and we may have forgotten to take that into account.
I didn't.
I meant like with a lockpick check and whatever.
Oh yeah. Whoops. That doesn't matter.
You still rolled a
Whoopsie.
3.
It's
Pardon?
fine.
You still rolled 3 on your lockpick check.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
that
I've
wouldn't
got.
have been
I
a
have a dice pool of 7, which is now 6,
Yep.
and then do I have anything? I don't get any extra dice for a small weapon. So is that right?
No, you get none for a small weapon.
My roll is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He gets
got
2.
two.
So you get a level 3 victory on him.
Stabbed right in the gut, up towards
Serious
the
injury.
inside of the chest.
Oof. Okay.
And I got critiqued for starting a fight.
He yelps out in shock and actually like screams a guttural scream into the night.
You see,
Warning.
we are monster hunters. And there is no greater monster than something that would hurt or exchange a child.
I'm going to peek out the window.
It's actually quite common culturally in this era, but anyway.
I'm getting the
These
vibe.
21st century
Really
being-
getting the
like, It's
vibe.
quite normal, actually.
I'm gonna peek out the window and just see if anyone noticed his screaming.
Oh, yes.
Yep,
Yeah, the
okay.
farmers are all turning back and like
Great.
running over.
Great. I'm gonna step outside. I look at you, and then I'm gonna step outside.
A destiny roll
Behind the
this.
door.
A 5.
How'd our friend's hunting go?
He's off. To go hunting, you're at least walked
Okay,
off like 10,
all right.
15 minutes, right? You're not going to be like hunting around the streets of this hamlet.
All right.
Right? Yeah. So he's off in a field. You can roll a survival check. Roll a survival to hunt for some stuff. He's caught a rabbit.
Hey,
Cool.
well,
Oh.
we can eat tonight. If we survive.
All right.
I look at Helga and I'm like, I believe we should go to the edge of the forest. Is there a back door in this building?
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to deal with them first?
If we can do so politically, that would be best. And I slit this guy's throat.
I step outside.
He screams
Everybody's
out.
politically.
He screams out.
Maybe.
With my quicker action, because I see him about to
scream out so I can act first, I go to cover his mouth and.
He's already alerted the people anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You cover his mouth. He doesn't get the word out because you've got the drop on him. But definitely they hear like a no, and then like a mouth get covered. So like he doesn't say what he was going to say, and you silence that. But they hear a man get silenced because you can't really stop that. Yeah, and you slit his throat.
Lay
and
him
he
down,
dies.
cover him with sheets, and clean my chisel underneath the blanket.
Okay. There are, I'm going to say 3 farmers that arrive at the door with pitchforks and farm tools.
You're right.
And they're like, what's going on here?
Everything is fine. My associate and the Janek, that guy, got in a bit of a sprawl, but they're completely fine.
So out of the way, woman. And
There is no need, sir. They're completely fine.
And I stand up and cleaning.
Now, I'm sorry to everyone for this because I hate it, but we're playing a game in like 1740. He's like, I didn't say you would speak back to me. Off.
I'll cross my arms and stand. What do these guys look like, these farmers?
3 farmers.
But they're like
They're-
malnourished.
Well, they're probably less malnourished than most because they produce the food,
Yeah.
so they've held more back.
Do I think I could take them?
All 3?
No, but
Maybe.
okay. Yeah, I
Because
stand
you're
my
a
ground.
badass.
I stand and cleaning blood off my chisel off an impeccably clean outfit and an unmoving lump under bed sheets. Stand and say, I offered this Janek a friendly encounter or
So you
one
walk
of
out the front.
Yeah, I step
Yeah.
forward. I'm like, I offered one without confrontation or one with, and he chose with. Now you get the same option. You leave peacefully, or there will be a confrontation. And I clean the last of the blood off of my chisel.
I know they're probably in a rage, but I want to try and.
You can persuasion check, challenge level 5. You've just walked into a town, murdered someone, and then basically said, I'll kill you if you don't get out of my way. Like, you're not...
I don't have 5 dice, so it's not.
And you don't have thing. If you want to assist, you can to reach it, but you're pushing these people aren't just going to let you kill one of them and then walk out.
Do you want to assist me?
Sure. With what was it?
With what? What can you?
What would you like to? What's give me your approach?
I think we sort of are in what we're in, maybe.
The only thing I can think of is trying to turn this a different way.
Okay, go.
So instead, I'm going to say, do you understand what this man has done? Do you guys know who you live with? He is a monster.
What's he done then?
What's the girl's name that he said?
Christina.
Christina.
Christina. He traded her for gold, her life. So, we have taken his. But he traded her to a monster, and that is the monster we are hunting. We don't want to cause any trouble here, but he brought the trouble.
Challenge level 4 persuasion. Slightly
So
more convincing.
I'll assist
With what?
with persuasion. Oh, wait.
Maybe you should roll persuasion. What's your
Yeah,
persuasion?
Helga can roll
I
persuasion.
can. I've only got
I'm the
3
one with the
dice.
bloody knife. Oh, you've got 3 dice. I've got 4.
With your -1.
Oh shit! I've got 3 dice.
Yeah, you've
I've got
both
2.
Yeah.
It can still be done. You need to roll perfectly. You can't actually because you've only
Yeah,
got 2.
unless I use a
challenge-
destiny.
So it's challenge level 3. Unless you use a
Which
destiny.
I'm happy to do that.
On your
Yeah.
okay, we can both
Yeah.
try.
if
You're
we
the backup.
don't-
If I don't get 3 successes out of 3,
No, you're gonna. I'm not going to let you both roll. So it's going to be you have to.
Okay.
Then you've got a
You're
better
arguing. You're
chance.
doing the same thing at the same time. So only one of you
Statistically,
can roll.
isn't it a better chance if you roll 2 and add a destiny dice? If you want
It's
to.
very meta.
Sorry, it is. But outside of meta, I can't not be meta now that I've done that. I don't want a meta game. All right, I'll
Look,
roll.
worst case scenario is we run away.
Boom. 1. I was not very persuasive.
I pull out my bowler.
Call me out like that.
They
expect the same.
They say,
I don't want to fight these people.
"You haven't done nothing, woman. Get out of the way."
Okay, I leave.
Okay, and they're leaving Bryn to, and then they're like, trying to basically get into the house, and you're in the doorway.
I slam the door shut and lock it.
I know how the mechanism works, so I'm very quick. I hope.
Okay, one of them. There's a few whistles and calls out as they're like more people are coming, and at this point you're hearing shouting, and you see a farmer running through the fields.
I'm gonna whistle.
One of the farmers Helga sees is an older guy, comes out of the house, and then he kind of like is strapping on a belt with a clearly old looking sword, and he puts like a pot helmet on his head because he's clearly like assigned himself the sort of town militia guy. And there's a sort of maybe a 16-year-old boy who quiveringly has got a hunting bow out. And one of the farmers runs up to the window and like starts pushing his head in the window. And I'm going to get a perception check, challenge level 3.
I mean, they're pretty distracted.
Probably 4 if he's a hunter.
That's
He's in the house.
Oh, you inside
Yeah, but there
the
are
house?
windows on the house. And I'm assuming...
They're small, very small diamond windows with a little hatch framing because glass is extremely expensive. So there's only like small little...
What's the roof made of? Is it thatched?
Thatched.
Is that workable?
One of them... You said you killed him, didn't you?
Yes.
You just straight up said it.
No, I didn't say that.
You said you slit his throat.
Yeah, you said I slit his throat.
I told you that I didn't tell the townspeople. Oh, no, I did say I
Yeah,
took
there
his
is a
life.
loud
Yeah.
discussion happening that Helga can overhear where they're just like, he's locked himself in there. He's bloody killed Janek. Murderer in our town. And they like casting looks at you and they're like, what are you still doing here, woman? You know,
How far off
he
is
was
Bryn?
one of us. He was one of us. Bryn's probably like 5 minutes away. Like he's running. Are you even running across the field or?
I walk
Walking
briskly.
briskly.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's a couple of minutes away.
I'm gonna go out, kind of where we were sleeping, so that they
Destiny
can't.
roll.
see
Oh,
us.
thanks,
I'm
Helga.
gonna help.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so
Sure
they're
you
going
are.
to take a little bit. They're having an argument.
Don't worry, I'm fine.
One of them loudly suggests that he's going to that they should burn down the building.
I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm just standing in the room listening to it for now. We're scoping out my options.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, shouting outside, and they're basically saying, you know, we won't let a murderer get away from our town. Kill him.
Maybe slowly dawning on me that I met you guys yesterday, and I don't know if you can
You just
back me up.
murdered a man.
And I did. Well, he was a
This is
monster.
the first person you've ever killed.
But it is dawning on me also that my capacity to be grim myself is far greater than I
I actually
expected.
think you're the monster.
Yeah.
Look,
Bit of a transformation.
This guy sold his child, which by today's standards is a nightmarish thought, but back in the day it happened. And if he genuinely was like for a better life, it's not necessarily by their standards the morally worst thing in the world. Like, I'm a single father. A male is a useless caretaker. Men can't look after children.
Yeah.
And without a wife in my home, my child will be better off in the care of a woman who can look after it. Like, that's the kind of mentality that some of these people might have had.
Yeah, which I guess from Wolfgang's perspective and trauma and bias, I guess.
Yeah.
Because his child left him.
Yeah, yeah.
And his, you know,
Well, and
and he knows that Baba Yaga and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, he just obviously let all that get the better of him.
Yeah. Yeah,
But it's
she wasn't in that
standing
house.
on the room mulling all this over, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Your
behind.
mind flashes back to the 2 children you just promised to
I
look
was
after.
just thinking that they're now orphans again, potentially.
I go behind the
yeah,
tree,
yeah. The consequences of my actions are dawning on me.
out of the way, and I whistle for Bryn like I did last time. Is there any way that I can use perception in order to find something that is outside that will cause a distraction that's more present than what's currently happening? Like, can I set one of their houses on fire?
You could, but you also know you're being watched. So it'd be very difficult because they're not just like ignoring you.
No,
they're
yeah.
looking at you with hostility. So, I mean, of course, that would cause a distraction if you could pull it off without them stopping you. At this point, the argument seems to have settled on not burning down the house. And there is currently a couple of guys who run up and they start hitting the door with a big hammer. So it's like shaking and rattling on its hinges.
Okay.
At this point, there's probably 7 people around. You can see small children, probably like a dozen children looking out from windows. Have all been woken up in the morning. They're all peeking nervously.
What toys can I make in this room?
Like,
I'll MacGyver my
I
way
just
out
had
of
this
this.
image of like the Iron Man scene where he builds
Yeah.
the Iron Man suit, except you come out, the door opens, and you're just holding like a little toy train, and then a pitchfork just goes into your gut, and you're like, that didn't go how I thought in my head.
They walk in, there's like lines of little toy soldiers. Attack! Anyway, sorry.
I've just noticed something. You always play exceedingly righteous characters.
Do I?
Yeah, you always play people who are like, oh, that's the morality line. I'm going to just like
Fucking
leap
run
into the
down
deep.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you've crossed the line. I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah, okay. All right.
There's no Tui about Jazza.
Yeah.
Who's just like, eh. I'm so good at making awful, awful people that you want to kill, though. That's my...
I think that, it's good though.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can set someone's house on fire? Can I see a torch?
Make a general knowledge check.
They're talking about
Challenge
shouldn't
level.
they burn the house down? So
2.
you're going to burn another one
Well,
down.
I need them to run away so you can get out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind
Well,
of...
and they have to act quickly, I'm
All
assuming.
right.
That's
There
actually
is
a
there is
genius
a
plan.
burning torch in the hands of a 15-year-old boy.
I run over and snatch it from him.
Okay.
Like
Strength check?
stealing candy from a baby.
I'm going to say you just overpower him and you rip
Right.
the torch
I
out of his
shove him.
hand. And he immediately shouts and eyes are drawn
great.
to you.
Whatever. Do any of these houses
You're getting
not...
closer now.
Do any of these houses not have small children occupying them?
Destiny roll. 14.
Something tells me this is
1.
how the Grimm Gang's reputation proceeds.
I
Yep.
get a little bit closer. I throw the torch so that it lands on the roof and would catch it on fire, right? Because it's thatched roof. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Do you want me to make a throw check?
This is a lot. This
Oh,
is
and
eventful.
I shout and say, like, you better leave him alone, or I'm gonna throw it anyway. But set fire to your
Or
house.
else! As the house starts burning.
You ever seen in Community where Troy walks in with the pizza? That's me. I'm gonna walk in.
Man,
and there's like 4
Destiny
houses
roll
in
for
the house.
Helga here. 15.
Chicken pizza. I got a rabbit.
A torch lands on the... make a throw check. Challenge level 2 to get it up to the roof. You have a lot of throw.
Because I have a bowler.
So you put points in throw.
great.
Have you lost your 1 point for your exhaustion? Yeah, remember that. What did I say? What's
It's always
challenge level
nice
2?
when a less used skill comes into play and people have points in it as
You
well.
throw the torch and it lands squarely in the thatch roof
Right.
and begins burning. There is yelps and shouts in the town.
Fantastic.
Roughly
Can-
half the people are drawn away from the house.
Cool. Can he get out?
No, there are still 3 farmers at the door smashing the door down.
Go over there and start just pulling people away.
Okay, at this point, you've kind of pushed your luck too far,
Sure.
and a couple of the farmers round on you.
Yep.
And you hear a boy nervously say, Dad!
I've heard to signal Helen. Helga, not Helen. Who's Helen? I'm sorry.
Okay. so you're
Helga,
gonna
sorry.
go-
I
you-
just met you yesterday.
Sorry.
So there's a farmer in front of you, and you're trying to physically throw him out of the way.
Yeah, just shove him.
Time flies.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to that
Remember we had
door.
a
Make an
before
unarmed
hitting
combat
it.
check.
So,
He's going to do the same.
At least it's interesting.
Actually, he's going to get 2 extra dice because he's going full defense.
And they were two very well rolled
3
extra dice.
successes.
so 3, but 1, but -1, so 3.
It's combat, so you get both dice. So 4 dice because you get both attributes for all
But
combat.
-1 because of an injury.
Yep. So 5 minus 1 is 4.
Oh. What did he roll?
He got 3 successes, but he's fully defensive because he's not using his weapon, but he is not trying to hurt you because you're a woman. So
Okay.
the classical
Ooh.
sexism has its minor perks, I guess. The farmer is very reluctant to stab a woman.
Cool.
Yep.
Happy.
He got 3 successes.
We're rolling. I'm probably going to use a destiny if it makes any difference.
You got 3
3.
successes, so you're equally matched.
I'm going to use a destiny to overpower him.
Okay, so you have a level 1 victory on this guy.
Shove him out of the way. I don't want to hurt him.
So you're going to
Stagger
him.
Yes.
Okay. There's a very nervous cry of "Dad!" because you just pushed a guy's dad to the ground.
Yeah.
And a teenage boy, approximately 15, knocks an arrow in his bow and shakily aims it towards you.
It's fine.
Oh,
Okay. Bryn, you arrive on the edge of town. You're still probably like 2 turns away from combat, but you can see everything that's unfolding now. You see Helga is pushing people to the ground. They seem to be trying to break into this house. A roof is slowly starting to cinder. There's probably like a 13-year-old has half climbed up the side of a building and is like trying to throw climbing up onto the roof of their house to throw the torch off. There's a couple of farmers running around trying to get a bucket of water from the river. In fact, 2 of them run off with buckets
just
to
like-
the river, to the troughs and stuff.
I literally feel like Troy from Community. Just being like, what do I do? Where do I start?
I got a rabbit. Lunch,
Who's
anyone?
hungry?
Is there anybody that looks like they're running the show?
There's a guy with a helm
helmet.
who's shouting, and he's currently with 2 other guys. One is staggered, smashing a door down.
I'm going to walk up to him. I
Okay,
mean,
you're
I'm
gonna head
ages
towards-
away. Yeah, but yeah, I want to head
The
towards him.
helmeted guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next round. Door is. I'm going to say this is just going to get easier every turn, but it's challenge level 4 this turn, and I've only got 4 dice. Okay, so. No, the door shakes. It doesn't break.
Can I
next turn it will be a 3.
peek through a window
Yep.
or cracks in the door or something to find who's standing in front of the door or where, and if I can find an opportunity to open it and push them down at an opportune moment? That's my.
There's 2 farmers smashing at the door with tools, and you think if you pull the door open, they're not going to get staggered particularly much because they're not like elbowing into the door; they're hitting it with a hammer. So if the worst case would they'd hit the ground with the hammer if you timed it perfectly, you might get a moment of advantage off one of them. But yeah,
Okay, I find a table or chair.
okay.
What do I have? That's
There's like a table and chair in the room, and a corpse, and a table and a chair, and some wine and cheese.
what kind of table?
A wooden table, a round wooden table.
Wooden
next
table
to
that
his bed.
sideways would fit through a door. Roll that would
Sure.
roll through a door.
Roll.
Round.
Are you trying to kick it out the door? Is
Yeah,
that,
just give it a bit of momentum and see if I can hit 2 people with it.
Or if you threw it,
Yeah, give it a big.
it doesn't have wheels on it. But yeah,
No,
okay, if you
it is a
threw it-
wheel though.
But you have to take the top off the table.
Yeah, I kick the
Okay.
legs off.
You make a strength athletics check to smash the bottom off a
Challenge
table.
level.
3, 4, 4.
That was a big old.
Critical
Ow,
fail.
my foot!
Yes, you kick the table a few times. It's well built. Your foot is not strong enough to break 4-inch thick wood.
This plan will not work.
Outside, Helga, what you doing?
Other
Next
guy.
one? Going
Yep.
for the next one?
Yep.
All right. He also is not willing to fight you, although that willingness is disappearing. 3 successes. He's full defense.
The new guy to the Grim Gang is being very helpful.
I'm just thinking, like, what's the level of regret right now?
2 successes.
How many more guys is there?
1. The guy with the helmet.
Use a destiny.
Okay, so you... Well, that only matches him. He got 3 successes.
But if I fail,
If you fail, he just pushes you away. If you match, yeah.
I won't use a destiny.
Cool.
I'm happy to fail.
So he kind of pushes you away,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other guy rights himself, and then they're like, bugger off. And the boy says, Dad! And he's like, don't shoot her, boy!
I'm gonna pull.
But you're
Out,
getting close.
I'm gonna pull out my bowler.
Okay, you pull out a weapon.
Mm-hmm. The guy with the helmet's at the front.
Yep.
Or he's talking to you.
I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet. I want to throw it, but I want to throw it around his legs.
What's your reflexes?
Fun.
1.
As in, I've got a point. In.
Okay, I'm going to destiny roll this.
There's a lot of 1 step forward, 2
8.
steps back happening in this episode.
Okay, you draw your weapon and go to throw it, but immediately the 2 guys rounded you with their weapons drawn. Now you've now actively they've tried to be nice. Now there's less people smashing on the door, but there's now 2 people who are about to be violent with you.
Okay, I'm gonna shout at them and say, I do not want to use excessive force. We just want to leave.
They reply, "You can leave. The murderer can't."
The door has stopped being banged
There's
on.
1 person banging. It's like less.
I open the door and boot them.
Okay, you rip the door open. Now we're just going into combat.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So, are you leaving or are you...
I'm going to leave.
Okay, so Helga turns to walk away. You're
Sorry,
now
guys.
about where Helga is. It's
I don't
about
know what else to
10
do.
meters from the door. That's where you can take your action.
I'm not trying to-
very loudly. I'm just going to be like, "What on earth is going on?"
I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm trying to...
And a young farmer's like, he murdered someone. Janek's dead. Very,
Is that the rich man that sold his daughter?
Sold his daughter to the witch.
yeah. And they don't seem to be too shocked by that. You are fighting
So
someone.
you want justice for him because he killed the guy who killed someone.
He didn't kill anyone.
Yes, but he sold his daughter to a
He
cannibal
The-
witch.
That is irrelevant to what's happening right here, which
Well,
is
is
the two
it?
guys. Yeah, because
Where's the justice for the man that killed his daughter?
the guy with the helmet who just smashed the door open and had the door pulled open, that isn't stopping while this conversation is happening. The hostilities have ceased. Also, this woman is burning our house down.
Yeah, no, I got no answer for that. I've walked into the
So,
most bizarre situation.
combat.
This
The
has
hammer-
escalated
the hammer
very
swings
quickly.
towards you.
Ah, cool. It's good to be tired at this point in time as well.
3 successes.
What sort of size hammer?
A sledge hammer.
Okay.
Sledgehammer.
Assuming that's like a large weapon,
Yes.
my move is to enter close combat. I'd charge in.
You
sort
can
of-
enter close combat should you succeed in getting a victory level on him.
That's the aim. Yeah.
Okay. I gave him 1 less dice because you staggered him. Well, you didn't stagger him. You pulled the door open and got a bit of...
Bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. Challenge level. What,
Well,
based
he
on
got 3 successes.
And I got 1, 2. Great.
successes.
Good. This is going well. This is going really well, guys.
So he's-
I'm so glad that one thing has led to another, and here we are. Let's continue.
Satisfying conclusion. What happens when you just murder a villager? Oh, there's consequences. Okay, so hammer swings. He's going to not injure you. He's going to stagger you as you get knocked back by the swing of the hammer.
I'm not looking for trouble, believe it or not. We are trying to kill a monster, and he brought it here.
This guy has a bit of an inglorious look in his face as he's coming at you. But back out here while Bryn, the blood-soaked guy with the gaping wound, is trying to convince a townsfolk that they shouldn't act against a murderer.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of the situation.
They reply to you in a snap. They're just like, Janek did no wrong. Nothing he did was illegal. He's a bastard, but he didn't deserve to get killed in his sleep.
Did his daughter?
She ain't dead, mate.
Yes, she is.
I seen her
When?
a couple of days ago.
Interesting.
This is incredibly awkward.
You're like,
When?
You're still fighting. I'm sorry.
Okay,
You're like,
all right, I'm on-
you're in the door of this building. You guys are like in the middle of the town clearing. You've been pushed away a little bit from the door. But we'll do this conversation for a little bit before we continue your fight. So they're all at a stop. Destiny roll for this house. A 14. The kid throws the torch off and manages to pat out the fire, but they're going to have to replace a big chunk of thatch. Luckily, it's winter and it's been cold, so it didn't like just go, it's been quite moist. So,
Shit.
and then he's like, and one of the other farmers is just like, yeah, she comes into town every week or so, out from the woods. Coincidentally unrelated child selling.
You're evil.
Yeah.
Is there a communal cook fire anywhere?
No.
Oh, damn. I was going to cook my rabbit.
All right.
Yeah, I got nothing. You're on your
Back to
own.
Wolfgang. Ask before murder. Okay.
I think, look, when you're in the shit, think you have to sort of roll with it. You don't have any other choice. Because the choices have been made and I have to stand by them and make sure they reconcile with my character, which I'm working, or I think it works with, I think the impulse is there and I made it a very strong impulse in the same way that he immediately volunteered to be these kids' father.
I don't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
At all.
It feels like how does save point work? How does a save point work in RPGs?
I just didn't expect you to kill him. Like, you didn't kill the other guy who was so much worse. I abandoned my children in the woods to die versus I sold them to a kindly lady.
I think what may have happened a little bit is player Jazza heard more of what he expected to hear than was said.
Okay.
And narrator Dave said what was done and the context of the world itself was maybe not understood in that moment.
It's fine. So it's still it's not a nice thing. Like, it's not illegal. Children are considered property.
Which is why I'm taking the
it's not, you wouldn't respect someone who did. That's why the townsfolk were like, he's a bastard but he didn't do anything illegal. Like, it's not a nice thing, but it's not. Anyway.
I pictured like a drug deal with a witch. And like gave his daughter away, and she's
that's what you were meant to picture.
I know. Well, that's what he acted upon.
Okay, that's fine.
And he acted upon that.
Like he has a history of delusion. So in his head, he saw what wasn't real. He saw the wicked witch in the house and the pestle. He saw Hansel and Gretel in a cage.
So that's the picture. Yeah.
I love that Dave is justifying his death.
That's good. It's good to. I like that we're going over a little bit out of character simply because I think there will be listeners and viewers who sort of need to go through this a little bit.
Phil said an amazing comment that just says, I mean, there was a reason his wife and kid left him. Seems like he might maybe overreact to things. He might maybe overreact.
I'm an incredibly reasonable person. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, my dear son, it seems you didn't play with my toys, so I will be burning all your toys.
I think
don't like horse
that's
toys?
Exactly Wolfgang.
You want to use the baker's toys instead of the toys I built you? Well, then I will burn them for kindling. Okay.
Whew, okay.
So you're ready to receive a sledgehammer?
I'm going to full defense against the sledgehammer, yeah.
Well, he only got one success.
Right. But I can't get any victory levels.
You're staggered.
I'm staggered.
And you have one off for exhaustion.
I've taken one off for exhaustion. So that's a very good defense roll.
Holy shit!
I wish it was an attack roll.
So you write yourself. Yeah.
No, I'm not attacking.
Poise with your chisel skillfully. Like, you've killed people before with that roll. Like, you look like chisel out.
There is something to be said for the profession he had before he was a toy maker. Because he was a toy maker after he lost his son and wife.
Yeah.
He became a toy maker. So there could be
Maybe
military or dark history.
Maker.
There could, who knows? So I think
he's a really shitty baker, so the other one got away.
He's very good with his chisel and hammer in a way that a toy maker doesn't get on its own. So I think there's dark stuff that we haven't maybe gone into, but there can be. There has to be now.
Tortured past.
But Wolfgang is full defense mode now.
So what are you doing out in the town? Wolfgang's full defense. So you just kind of like, and you just deflate? Do you keep being aggressive?
I'm gone. I'm hiding in the trees, just watching. I am only causing chaos. I'm not helping the situation.
So I need my destiny dice.
I'm just going to be watching him passively.
I'm going to do one more roll, and this is very important.
I think it is.
You got a 6.
Okay.
All right. Cool. 2 more townsfolk rush into the room with you.
Full defense in, obviously, I was quite capable in my standing up and getting my ground. It's not like, I am not here to cause trouble or hurt anyone else.
Then drop it.
Pardon?
Then drop it.
Drop what?
Your weapon. They gesture to your weapon.
Very well. And I drop it.
Okay.
And I step back, hold my hands back, like...
Okay.
So man deserve it. We are hunters of the dark, and he was dark.
The farmers advance on you, and with your arms up, they do not take you peacefully. So you get like hit with a hammer immediately, just smashes into you. And then they don't, the pitchfork, you don't get stabbed. They don't like try and kill you, but they basically beat the shit out of you. Like they just start pummeling you into the ground until you. So that's what I'm saying. You can choose to try and maybe escape that fate, but having dropped your weapon and put your hands up, they are going to very violently take you.
As a player who,
I love our Twitch chat. I shouldn't interrupt our YouTube videos for it, but Nick in Twitch chat says, I don't think we're going to like 15th century law enforcement. Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think extra special comments definitely make an appearance.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of big action, and I'm also a fan of big consequences, frankly. So, yeah, he gets the shit beaten out of him.
You get absolutely pummeled, puffy-eyed and bruised until you're basically incapacitated on the ground, in which case they rope you up. After about 5 minutes, and you hear violence, that one of them comes out and is just like, all right, well, we've seen it. He's dead. Janek's dead. Your boy's not. You said something about a monster.
Is he talking to me?
Both of you.
Oh.
Is that girl in real danger?
Didn't he just say 2 minutes ago that he was...
He said she's alive. He's asking if she's in danger. You said monster.
Yeah, of course. We wouldn't be lying. We wouldn't have caused all of this trouble if we were lying.
Well then, find some proof. Me boy will show where she lives. And if you're right, we'll let your boy go. And if you're wrong, we'll string him up by his toes for the crows to have.
What proof do you need?
Evidence of a monster.
It will be done.
All right. He can keep Janet company till you're back. Like board the front of the house up, leaving you just like beaten to a pulp. You're basically full injuries, 5 points, 5 minor injuries, probably one moderate and 3 minor. I like to think about the motivation behind everyone. And I really think that inherently, like a bunch of farmers don't want to kill someone.
Yeah.
So like their innate instinct is they're angry, they're scared, and they want to lash out. They beat you to a pulp.
Stop me doing that.
You're
again,
laying
so
on the
I'm
ground.
not a
Like
threat.
you've probably got like a broken rib. You're like puffed up. You're beaten to a pulp. You may die from that injury.
Yeah.
But they're not of the like that they're just going to stab you and kill you, because then they've just killed a person in cold blood, like in their opinion. You're now powerless.
Yeah.
They are, like they said, they're even in how they would kill you. They don't want to be guilty of killing you, because a lot of people don't want that. So they would string you up and leave you for the crows, but they wouldn't be the one to actually stab you and be the one that has the blood on their hands. It's the kind of mob mentality.
Yeah, cool.
So I really don't feel it's within a farmstead group of people
Great.
to want to like just execute you. That
Cool.
This is, for me, fitting to what they'd want to do.
Sounds good.
I'm going to turn to Bryn and say, our new companion escalated that very quickly.
To murder.
I can see that. But how did the house catch on fire?
Well, I needed a distraction. I didn't know how to get him out of there.
You don't know this man.
True. But I couldn't leave him to die. I didn't know what would happen. Anyway, what are we going to do?
Just go find the witch. Shove my rabbit corpse into the helmeted man's hands. Let's go.
All right. And the 14-year-old boy, or 14, 15 roughly, year-old boy, gets talked to by his dad, who is the guy with the helmet. And then he walks up to you and he says, "Hello, I'm Willie. You ought to come with me."
Are you talking to me?
Oh, I am. That's what Dad said.
What?
I'm taking you to the place where
The girl lives.
Oh.
he's like a bit, kind of nervous and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, we go over to the forest."
Sure.
All
Lead the
right.
way.
And he does nervously with his hunting bow, and he takes you and leads you for about half an hour as you walk out to the edge of town where the tree line is. And there's a little stone path that leads off into the forest. And he says, follow that for about another half hour and you'll be there in the cottage. It's been there the whole time we've been here.
I'm just going to nod at him and then continue without him
Cool.
forwards.
You journey for half an hour until you arrive at a fence. On the top of the fence, there are skulls impaled on spikes and an iron gate, and inside a cottage, very homely looking cottage with smoke coming from the chimney. There's but one issue with this cottage, is that it is standing 20 foot in the air on chicken legs, spinning around on the spot. Just spinning. It's just like a kid, like a child when they just spin around. That's what the cottage is doing. It's just like chicken leg just like spinning on the spot.
Okay. We don't see that every day.
Should have brought the kid with us.
Okay. Go up to the gate. Is the gate locked?
No, it opens. And as it opens, the house stops spinning and turns towards you and then kneels down and leans the front of it. So like these little wooden steps just flop down
Okay.
and the door swings open.
I look at you.
I heft my axe and walk in.
Cool. I pull out my bowler and we continue as well.
Cool. And at the door, a young girl, perhaps 8 years old, is standing there wearing like a little apron and waves at you and says, "Hello,
Christina, I presume.
that's me. Are you guests visiting Babushka?"
I look at Bryn and I look back at her. Yes.
Well, come in.
And I tuck my bowler back away.
The smell of
Well
delicious,
played.
the smell of delicious baked goods.
Is there a
wafts
fire?
out. Fire? Yeah, there's a big oven cooking.
I don't go in the house.
You just stay outside.
I'm
you look in.
terrified.
There's like a commercial-sized baking oven in there, and
Yep.
it just smells like patisseries.
I'm petrified.
So what do you say to Bryn?
I've already walked in.
Oh, you just walk in.
I will wait out here.
Yeah.
All right. You see an old lady standing in the kitchen who turns towards you. She is very ugly, but she smiles at you and says, "Hello, good morning."
Is it the same witch that I saw earlier?
No.
Using my Grim Gang knowledge, what do I know of witches?
You know that they can cast spells, and the ones you've heard of, Be Dispatched, you didn't fight them, can warp minds and control people, but usually it's a lot of potions and curses, not so much like Harry Potter magic.
Over the story of them being dispatched, would I know anything being a monster?
They're
at the time?
people.
Just kill
They die like people. At least regular witches do. Baba Yaga, maybe not. It says, "You look awful. Oh, and you've, So you're just standing there looking gormish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. That was a good roll.
And and I sense the curse of the lupine through your veins."
What do you mean, curse?
"You've been afflicted, my boy. Cursed at the full moon to rise as a beast."
I'm assuming Helga hears this.
Yeah, Helga can hear a soft voice out the front.
What does Helen
The little kid just goes back to about her business. She's like sweeping up like some crumbs and stuff. She looks fairly happy and decent.
Can I?
She has a plate and she picks up like an apple Danish and takes a bite out of it, put it back on the plate and keeps going about her work.
Why is this house on chicken legs?
Because it is, and it has always been.
I've only ever seen one other house on chicken legs.
You've met my sister, Baba Yaga.
I've had the displeasure.
Yes. Which one?
What?
Which one of my sisters did you meet? Did you meet Baba Yaga? Or was it Baba Yaga?
Yes.
Baba Yaga. Old bony legs?
I don't know.
She's got an awful temper. But that you are alive says that you must be of good heart. I am not like my sisters. Anyway, you've come here. Why?
Hunting down a witch that steals children.
Oh, you won't find one of them here. I don't know of any witches. Or people that steal children. Sounds horrible.
I'm so fucking confused.
Can I scout around the outside while I'm like around the chicken legs and
The ground
see if
the ground under the house is quite well stamped, like as if a giant chicken has been clawing the ground a lot. It's just a yard with a fence around it.
there's no like shed or anything?
No,
No. Okay.
there's nothing much of interest.
Yeah.
It's all on you, Bryn. What are we doing?
This is so far above the mental capacity of this man.
Bryn or Rob?
At this point, both.
Can I smell what she's cooking in her oven?
Baked goods.
Can I be more specific?
Make a baking check. Oh, sorry. Assist perception with a baking check.
Who'd have thought that would happen more
Not
than
once,
once?
but twice.
Yeah.
That's your assist?
5.
So you get 2 additional successes.
Nice. Now perception.
Now your perception. Or was that your perception?
that is
Okay.
the cooking skill. Yep. So it's two
Challenge
additional.
level is 3 to just specifically determine what is being cooked.
+2. Oh, right.
Plus 2 automatic wins. You only need 1, which you get 2. You can discern that currently baking in the oven is a deliciously crumbed apple and rhubarb strudel.
Okay. There's nothing that smells kind of weird or off
Like
about
meat? No, it smells like a really delicious apple and rhubarb strudel.
Okay.
Your sister.
Yes, Baba Yaga, or perhaps Baba Yaga.
Sure. We rescued 2 malnourished children from her.
She probably would have been waiting to feed them, I imagine.
They were in cages.
Yes, she has an insatiable appetite for children. It's rather foul.
She was waiting to feed them?
Yes. Malnourished, you said. Doesn't sound like much. And she waits for the girl to be out of earshot. Meat on the bones.
Well, regardless, we saved the children, tried to kill her, but she ran off.
Yes.
So now we're on the hunt for her. Now, one of my associates has gone into town, and you've obviously adopted this young girl. And he potentially misread the situation and killed her father, thinking that you were going to eat
Is
her.
the girl out of earshot?
I don't care.
Too bad.
You don't care.
No.
I'll destiny roll that. She hears it and you hear her scream and start sobbing and saying her father's name.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, there's been a terrible misunderstanding, and now the town wants to kill him.
Yes, well, for the crime of murder, I guess my payments will lessen, I suppose, but it's too tragic for the poor girl.
But you can see why the misunderstanding happened, surely. You, your siblings, for some reason like taking in young children, presumably to eat.
Most people don't know of us.
Yes, but we do.
Oh. So what should I do about it? I don't want any upset children.
Either.
Oh, so how can I help you?
Help me stop your sister.
I can't.
Why?
We cannot act against each other.
You're not acting against them. You're just giving us the information we need to know so we can act against them.
I can tell you where they are.
That'd be useful.
And she pulls out an intricately and bizarrely well-drawn map of the area. And she actually marks out two spots, but then an area. And she's like, usually they roam in these areas. You could visit them.
Do I get witch vibes from this lady at all? Apart from the fact she lives in a
Make
floating
a
house.
perception check.
Can you assist with Grim again? You don't
Yes,
have enough points in
he
it,
could. He could. He could.
It's a bit too risky, though, isn't it?
Is it?
You would know I can't assist because you need a 3 or above, and I've only got 3 dice.
Yeah. So there's no point.
Yeah.
So my perception. What's my challenge level?
Wait, what? Oh, because you've got -1 to your dice. Your perception, challenge level 2.
1.
There's nothing that's making her obviously seem like a witch except for the fact that she is the sister of 2 witches, theoretically named Baba Yaga, and lives in a magic hut. There is a large mortar and pestle that you could sit in the corner of the room, but you don't put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not the smartest.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, that's unusual.
I'm starting to really see why the Grim Gang's reputation precedes them, both positive and negative.
Hey, I didn't murder some dude in cold blood. I just
Hey.
beat the shit out of a shit father.
Hey, are you going to murder this nice little old lady in cold blood or not?
I've yet to decide.
Pondering it.
Don't throw stones, okay?
The window
At me,
pops
at the
open
witch, go for
and
it.
her head pops out. She says, "Would you like some food? Come in. You're more than welcome.
Nah, I'm good.
I have fresh."
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. She leans her head back in.
I'm going to shout to you through the window and say, we need something to prove Wolfgang's innocence, even if it's not real or fake.
I like the subtlety.
Like a witch hat or a boom.
Do the villagers know about the chicken leg house?
What are you talking about?
This house is on chicken legs.
She gives a cheeky smile and she says, "Is it?" And then you hear the house suddenly just like sits on the thunk as it sits on the ground. And she says, "It only appears as such to those who know the truth of things."
The truth being,
The truth being
The house is a
that the
chicken.
house has chicken legs.
This episode is a lot.
Well, I'm loving it. It's very fun to run.
You got to act as your impulse decides. Is the greatest lesson I've learned in my life. And
Now
What?
I have no qualms with you, old lady. Your sisters are another matter. And this cursed house, I must do something about it.
What cursed house?
The chicken legs aren't natural. I must cleanse them.
What do you mean by cleanse them? What would you do?
I bring up my axe.
All right. There's our nice 10 dice pool.
I'm not attacking her.
She's not attacking you.
Okay.
Sort of. All right, I'm going to get you to roll a intelligence endurance check, which is a super unusual check, but I want you to do it.
What does that even mean?
An endurance
Just
check with
endurance
intelligence base.
Yeah,
Intelligence base instead of strength.
yeah, which I shouldn't do because we don't need to, but I'm
But
just
that's what
I'm
like a
just doing
magic
it.
It's like a
resist.
mental
there's-
fortitude.
yeah.
2.
2 successes.
She rolled 4, was
yeah.
it? Yeah.
She says, "You're coming up with frightfully silly things." As you realize the notion that this house had chicken legs is completely absurd, and you must have dreamed it.
Oh, no.
And that's it.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
Cool. Well, I'm sorry to disturb you. Thank you for the information on your sisters. Have a pleasant day.
And she gives you the map. And she says, "Oh, you have a wonderful day. And avoid silver. Your illness, silver, will kill you." And she points to your wound.
It's just a wolf bite. It'll be fine.
It's more than a wolf bite. Those awful witches, they might be able to tell you more when you find them.
I don't think I'll be doing much talking with them, but thanks anyway.
Have a love. Oh, before you go. And she gives you a small basket full of like baked goods. Like Danishes.
Muffin basket. Great.
Fresh baked.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and hands them to you. And she offers you a washcloth.
Nah, I'm good, thanks.
And then you walk out.
It detracts
The girl is crying in the corner. She rushes over to the girl. And a mere moment later, the girl stops crying completely and stands up and goes back to work.
Ha.
Cool.
People
If
are
I
gonna
were
love it.
following this
Yep.
story, there's far too
need
much
the
left hanging.
conclusion.
You need the conclusion?
Yeah, I agree. The way that happened, they're not coming back with evidence. He was strung up at the verge of death, basically.
Oh, yeah, if you didn't
Like-
get evidence.
So I think
then-
Wolfgang's dead.
The funniest thing is, had you asked for evidence, she was just going to give it to you. If you were like, I need evidence of magic, but you didn't go in the house.
Yeah.
You could have done that.
But I couldn't.
And you get a destiny point for ruining the game. Good. No, you get a destiny point. You played to your character. I'm kidding. You played to your character, and you used your disabling characteristic actively.
Don't worry, Jen. You didn't ruin the game.
No, I say that as a joke, but it's literally one of the key principles of getting any reward system for that. It's not that you ruined it; it's that
Playing
you
your
did what is actively hurting the meta narrative of what would have been good for your characters. Because you played your character. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's what
Yeah.
you want. You don't want people to be like, the meta thing to do is this.
We'll probably have to speed play between this and the next episode as far as like we re-enter at the entry of, back in the original town where people are arrested and regrouping and you meet a new member of this quest on the Grimm gang. So yeah, I think we have to take this through another 2 chapters, see where it goes.
Okay.
Maybe it'll end at episode 6. Who knows?
I hope you get some cool wolf powers.
I think there's
You
too
know what?
much cool stuff that hasn't been explored.
I have been so baffled because dealing with civilization is so far out of my character's element.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's fair enough. He killed a guy. This witch is telling the
I don't
truth.
see a problem.
She didn't kill the girl, so he's at fault. The chicken legs are bad, but never mind. I've been magic. I can't remember the chicken legs. So I'm like, yep, it seems reasonable.
Yeah,
What
fair
the
enough.
fuck do
I have to ask in the comments because I'm conflicted. I have to ask viewers: is it more interesting and satisfying, Game of Thronesian style? You don't know what can happen if someone dies, and in this case, Wolfgang's actions obviously sort of ended up with him dying, and the story is continuing. And I don't know, like I feel like his actions were extreme, but I think also it has sort of built up to that, and it makes sense to me. So I acted.
No
that
one
way.
did anything wrong.
But it feels that way a little bit, but not like. But I guess that's the other thing. Is like, is that does it feel like it plays out well, and a next episode is going to be like a thing, or is it like does it feel unsatisfying? I don't know.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Hey, and thank you to our patrons
Yes.
Yay!
for making all this possible.
What a wild ride.
Who wants it?
Me.
Pregunta que harán si cambia el
Does that mean I'm
There's
Dark
something
Fox.
about an idioma.
pregunto?
What does
I'm
that mean?
pregnant, and Haran is
I'm pregnant with Haran and Cambio's idiot.
the Dark Fox.
Professor X 1718.
Rhino. Oh, Tickle Duck.
Right now.
AJ Macy.
In the previous
Thank you.
episode, you brought us the question, would you like to tickle a duck? But I return with, wouldn't it be pleasant if a duck tickled you? Ugh. Awful.
Thank you.
Just this little downy fluffy tail.
It's the grim dark world. You don't know
like
what to
ducks.
expect. Thank you all so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what the hell you feel about after this one. But we
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you in the next chapter because where is this going? I don't know, but it's fun.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.